All right, how we doing, graduates? Are we fired up? That was pitiful. When I say fired up, you're supposed to say ready to go. Are we fired up?
Ready to go.
Are we fired up?
Ready to go.
All right, that's good. Now, I only have a couple minutes, I think, so we have other speakers coming up. So as Kim Kardashian probably told Chris Humphries, I won't keep you long. You got that? Huh? That's good. Thank you. I want to first thank Mr. Ridley for those kind words. He's been a dear friend, and growing up through this labor movement, he has been a mentor as well. I'd be remiss if I didn't also give a shout out to my international president, Harold Schaitberger from the IAFF. And I want to give a special thanks to President Painvich for having me, my great friend and a great labor leader, President Trumpka, and also Congressman John Lewis. This is actually the second time I've had the blessing of sharing the stage with you, and you're a true hero. And I actually have a picture of you in my office, me and you. I'm not a stalker or anything, don't worry. But to you, the graduates, congratulations. I know it's a huge accomplishment. I know you're ready to get the heck out of here and take your degrees and go back to work. But, you know, they say a mind's a terrible thing to waste, and obviously you've taken that to heart. But, you know, I got to ask you a question. A degree in labor right now? Are you guys nuts? I'm just kidding. It's a great time to be in labor. I think we have a great opportunity. But we live in a crazy time, right? We live in a time where decent American values are being trumped by political and corporate interest. We live in a time where a lot of bad politicians are being put in office by good people who don't vote. We live in a time where the wealthy want the pity of the minority, but they want the power of the majority. We live in a time where you can run a state like the state of Wisconsin by saying our state is broke and we need shared sacrifice. We need everybody to kick in a little bit. But right now, brothers and sisters in labor, they are trying to eliminate our voice. They are trying to desensitize us. They are trying to discredit us. They're trying to defund us, and we cannot let that happen. We had a governor of Wisconsin as a candidate run under the guise of shared sacrifice, and that our state is broken, that we can't keep kicking the can down the road, that we need everybody to chip in a little bit. But what was shared sacrifice in Wisconsin? I'll tell you quickly. Well, his first bill when he was governor, Governor Walker, was a corporate tax loophole for the wealthy, what's called the Las Vegas loophole he brought back. So you can make money in Wisconsin, but you can claim the corporate tax rate in Nevada or Colorado where it's lower than Wisconsin. We're open for business mantra. If you bring a business from Iowa, Illinois, Minnesota, wherever in the United States, bring it to Wisconsin, you get 2 years of not having to pay any taxes on your income you make. 2 years of no taxes. But our state is broke, and we need shared sacrifice. They told us it was going to cost $7.5 million to clean the Capitol after the protest. $7.5 million. Now, I told them on a side note to give me 5 bottles of Gooby Gone, and me and my firefighters would do it for half that price. They didn't take us up on that. Shared sacrifice. They took $1.6 billion from public education in one biennium. 12,000 women that used to go to Planned Parenthood, not for the woman's right to choose, no, just for basic health care, being taken away. A 30% cut in tech college program, but he says education's important. Voter ID, voter registration, I call it voter suppression because that's exactly what it is. But we need shared sacrifice, and our state is broke. Our child labor law being weakened. Workers paying more on their pension and health care, things that are already bargained for through the collective bargaining process, now paying double into our pension. So all these things that came about in Wisconsin. And I've been all over the country now, after what happened in Wisconsin, unfortunately, and we're seeing it all over the country, attacks on workers' rights. Act 10 in Wisconsin, Prop 32 in California, SB 5 in Ohio, paycheck deception in Florida, right to work in Minnesota, right to work in New Hampshire, teachers in Chicago under attack, pension reform all over the world. But we have to stick together right now in this global fight. We have to stand together, and that's why it's so important that you are here, that you are getting your education. So when the administration came to us, and they said, firefighters and police officers, we want you to sit this one out. We don't want you at the rallies. We don't want you at the protests. We're going to give you an exemption. Sit quiet. They said after 2 weeks, everybody will go home, and they'll realize their lives have not changed at all. We not only told Governor Walker and his administration no, but we told him hell no. We'll be there with our brothers and sisters sitting in, occupying the Capitol, making sure that we fight for workers' rights. They said we had high expectations than recall. They said we had high expectations. You guys you're trying too hard. You're shooting for the stars. I always say I don't know anybody that can rise to low expectations. So we got to continue to have high expectations. And unions are formed right now so that those who work hard can benefit from that hard work. Right now you hear on the news or in the media, they'll say, well, unions are no longer needed. Well, if unions were no longer needed, why are they trying so hard to get rid of us? And why are they spending millions and millions of dollars to get rid of unions if we're no longer needed? So it's important that you take your education. It's important you do something with it. It's important that you fight back and fight the good fight. Because right now, it no longer feels like we're in the United States of America. It feels like we're in the United Corporations of America. At what time do nurses, teachers, firefighters, police officers, janitors, correctional officers become the problem? They don't want to talk about the real problem, deregulation of banking, Wall Street. They don't want to talk about that. At what time do we transcend from calling them rich and wealthy, which is nothing wrong with being rich and wealthy. I like rich and wealthy people. They buy me drinks. But there's nothing wrong with being rich and wealthy, but now we call them all job creators. Back in the 19th century, they called them robber barons. Well, we have to work hard, because it is time, ladies and gentlemen. It is time. It is time for us to stop believing the senseless rhetoric about our shared sacrifice, our state is broke, and work hard for what our leaders have earned in the past. Because if you believe this about shared sacrifice and that your state is broke, as a wise man once said, you've been hoodwinked, you've been bamboozled, you've been led astray, you've been run amok, you've been duped. It's time for us to stop just servicing our members, but educating, mobilizing, and galvanizing our young members. It's time to hold all politicians accountable. It's time to hold all politicians accountable at every level, the local, state, and the federal level, Democrats and Republicans. If they're not doing the job of the people, we got to get them the heck out of there. It's time for us to continue Wisconsin uprising because we should never have been asleep. It's time for unions to get back into their communities so that our communities are there with us when times are tough. We have to get back in our communities. It's time for us to galvanize our young members and get them involved. Are you fired up? Are you fired up? Because right now we are down, but we are not out. They started this fight, but if it's a fight they want, it's a fight they're going to get. No one said that this would be easy, but we got to bring everything to the game. Like they used to say back in the old days, money, marbles, and chalk, everything it takes to play, and we will prevail. But our resolve has to be stronger, our pain has to last longer, and our passion has to run deeper. I will be there with you if you're there with me, because this is about justice, this is about history, and I guarantee you when this is all said and done, we'll be on the right side of justice, we'll be on the right side of history. Solidarity, brothers and sisters.